first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for joining us. We always appreciate you tuning in. We are live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, as we do every weekday, starting around 1 p.m. and going throughout the afternoon. Just want to remind everybody of that and to download that Fox 12 Oregon app. But if you are watching live, you know I'm taking a look here at the Fox 12 weather report right now that it is going to get warm. So today, 82. Friday, 85, Saturday, 89, then up to 94 on Sunday, which I know is close to a record at that point, just following along with Fox 12 weather. So regardless, it's going to get hot. And the important thing here, Northwest, is sometimes it's hard to keep your home cool or you don't know what to do. Well, that's why we have, as always, our guest Eric Goranson here to join in and give us some tips and tricks on how to make sure that we are staying cool in all of that heat, because I know I've learned from you just over the years just some different things that I didn't realize I was doing wrong. That was actually letting in a whole bunch of heat to my house. So this is always good advice and something that I think everybody in the Northwest should be reminded of.
Thanks, brother. Always a good time to be on here. And yeah, I got some good tips for you. And, you know, a lot of people do have central heat and air conditioners, you know, whether it's a heat pump or whatever else with that. And the first move I say with that is make sure you got a clean filter in there. You want as much airflow to go through that. Now, the problem is sometimes with allergies and indoor air quality, you're like, oh, I'm going to put a better filter in. Sometimes that doesn't always work with your system. Sometimes if you put too good of a filter in there, you slow the air down, which means you can actually freeze the unit up and get ice condensing and stuff on there. Water condensing turns to ice, and then you shut the whole system down. So you want to make sure that, one, of course, it's serviced every year, but two, if you put too good of a filter in there, that can be a problem. But really making sure you get the most airflow through there so you can get the most out of your system with central heat and air, it's going to be better off.
Yeah, definitely something to pay attention to. I mean, if you have that central air, to know how to maintain that.
Now, so many people in our area don't have that, right? They've got window air conditioners or anything else like that. So what I like to do is I start paying attention to the weather or jumping on your mobile device, taking a look and see what the temperature is outside. And if it's lower than what it is inside, your house is hot, the outside is cool. Maybe it's 8, 9, 10, midnight at night. This is where I open the windows up, open them all up and turn on the bath fans. And I turn on the kitchen fan that should all be venting outside. So that way I'm pulling air in through those and venting it out through those bath fans. So I'm mixing it up. So I'm trying to do everything I can to mix the air up and bring that cool air in. And you can do that till sunup or so in the morning when the sun starts coming up and you get the heat again. And then you want to do the opposite. You want to get it all closed up, windows tightly closed. Don't use those vent fans anymore unless you're cooking. And then, put the blinds down, do what you can to keep that place shaded. So that way you keep that cool air in as long as you can.
Yeah. So get just those little things too. Just taking care of those things can make such a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. And then the other thing is when it's hot outside, don't be using your dryer because, one, you're putting all that heat back into the house. But when you've got a dryer that's maybe using 150 or so cubic feet per minute, that's all the air that it's pushing out through that vent. Well, it's pulling that air in someplace. And unless you own a brand new house, that's pulling that 90-degree air from outside through every little crack in the house, around the doors and windows that aren't sealed up or siding or whatever, or out of your crawl space or basement. It's grabbing that air from someplace. So now you're introducing basically 150 basketballs of air every minute of hot air inside your house. So you're kind of, now's not the time. Do that in the evening or night, and use that dryer for your clothes sparingly if you can, because that's just heating the house up on the inside and then bringing more hot air in.
And how many basketballs of air was that?
So I think of a cubic foot of air as like the size of a basketball. So that's a cubic foot. So those usually do about 150 cubic feet per minute of air that is kicking outside. So you've got 150 basketballs of air a minute that you're bringing in from someplace that's warmer. So that's a lot. Now, with newer homes, you'll see, something that's built in the last year or two, they'll have makeup air. So they'll bring it in. And when it creates that kind of vacuum inside the house, it'll put that air in because the house is sealed up a lot better. So that'll put it into the AC system and do it. So that'll actually do makeup air that'll make up for that. But anytime you're running that bath fan or the clothes dryer, you're bringing in that air from the outside, which is a problem because you're just bringing in hot air and making it worse.
Okay, definitely good to know. So, and that's one that, again, I've learned from you before about that, about the running the dryer, bringing that air in, because I do have an old home, and that definitely does make a difference. So some great tips. Anything else that you think people should know?
Yeah, if you've got that HVAC unit, there's that outside compressor out there. Make sure that you've got the bushes and anything, within 2 or 3 feet of that. Keep it way back away from that because airflow is king. And if you haven't had it serviced, if you don't have hard, crazy water, get out there and spray it down and clean it up. Make sure you got all the dirt off the fins and any of the weeds and brush away from it. So that way you get the most efficient way to do it. And when it gets super hot, if it's not keeping up, if you don't have hard water, and hard water will be a problem, so you want to make sure not to get hard water built up on this because you can really cause issues. But I have nice, not hard water at my house. So if it gets really bad, what you can do is go down to your home improvement store and buy those little misters, like you see, it'll go on the end of a garden hose. I put the mist towards it, and that'll usually gain you 5 to 7 degrees extra of cooling because water moves heat better than the air does. So it'll actually supercharge that a little bit. So on a day or two a year, you're not going to hurt anything. That unit is designed to work in the rain. You wouldn't want to do it every day, but for a couple times a year when you're trying to get a little extra out of it, sometimes that'll work for you.
All right. So a little bit of water could go a long way.
Yeah.
On that.
And you're not using a lot because it's a mist, right? So you do it for a few hours, the hot part of the day, not going to hurt anything.
All right. So good ideas right there. Anything else, or should we talk about this week's episode?
Yeah, just be careful with the window air conditioners. Make sure if you've got the portable ones, don't be using extension cords, all that other stuff, because that'll lead to a fire. You'll burn the unit up. And then, of course, just use those when you need to. They're heavy on the electric bill. They're going to be the most expensive way to cool the house. But this time of year, when we're getting into the summer heat, you want to be safe. So just make sure and seal up around those as best you can. And again, do those things at night that don't cost too much, like using the bath fans and stuff to get the cool air in. And then maybe you can use those window air conditioners or the portable ones to keep things just a little cooler to take the edge off. And it might make it a little bit better. If you want to sleep at night, maybe putting 2 of them in one room to keep it down. If you don't have enough to do the whole house, maybe you put it in the bedroom so you can go in there and sleep at night. Who cares if the living room's a little bit hotter? Sometimes that works too when you're on a budget because things are pretty expensive out there.
Yeah, and things are expensive, and especially power bills, that have gone up and all those things. It's definitely good idea there. Use it when you need it and not over leaving those things on. All right, so some good advice. People can share that as well from this segment, but we also, I believe, have a preview of this week's episode.
Yeah, first I want to say, if anybody has something I want to talk about, if you want to have a question for me, run over to my website, aroundthehouseonline.com. Send me a message, and maybe we'll do it in another week or two on here. If there's a topic that you're like, I've never talked about it, always looking for ideas. But we have an epic show this weekend. I got to go down to the Frank Lloyd Wright house, the only one in Oregon and the only one in the Pacific Northwest that is a house that you can go tour, which is the Gordon house down in Silverton at the Oregon Gardens. And we do a full tour of that place and get to see inside and out of it. That has the most modern kitchen for a house built in 1956.
Wow. So yeah, seeing some history is what we get to do.
I get to go down and I can show you the cool things they did in this house. It was Frank Lloyd Wright, the #1 widely known architect in the United States. This was his answer to affordable housing and using a way to build things a little bit less expensive so people could have, housing out there. And so this is a really cool example of that. It's not some big crazy mansion. It's just it's Usonian house, which is really cool. And the kitchen in there, it has a built-in style refrigerator like what you see with the Sub-Zeros these days. It has wood panels on the front that you would see not till later in the 80s or 90s. This kitchen has a Genair cooktop with a downdraft that you didn't see for 20 years. It has all the stuff. It's like a kitchen 30 years before its time. And really cool to see that and all the other cool little features inside of it where they bring the outside to the inside, which kind of really started out creating some of the more mid-century modern stuff you'd see 10 or 20 years later.
I love that, just seeing the genius of him and then just how they designed it and how that reflects forward. So Awesome. And that's something that we get to do. We get to do that behind the scenes look. Anything else that you want to let people know about?
Oh yeah, we actually go take a look at my buddy Sparks. We actually took a World War II era chair that was an architect's chair, and we went through and kind of did a nice light restoration on it, cleaned it up. It had been neglected for about 40 years, so we went through and did a nice little light restoration on it to make it look good and function. And that's in our at the end of the show, as well as we really went and talked to some other architects and some other stuff in there, and then went and looked at some really cool used mid-century just vintage pieces over at Urbanite. So we got a jam-packed show, all kind of based around architecture and having some fun with older stuff in your home.
Love it. So some great things to watch right there. I mean, I want to see all of that. And just the restoration and Frank Lloyd Wright. I mean, come on. That's great. Well, where, when, and how can people watch?
All right, if you missed last week's show, tune in tomorrow morning, Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. Fox 12 Plus. And of course, this brand new show on Saturday, 10 a.m. Fox 12 Plus. And then it will air again, of course, on Sunday night at 6 p.m. on Fox 12 Plus. And then again, of course, on the following Friday. And then we've got all those videos over on the Fox 12 YouTube. We've got our own playlist over there, which is jam-packed full of all the episodes of the last 2.5 years.
All that stuff that you can go check out, all those segments. And always great to have you on here, Eric. And for everybody watching, feel free to share this segment as well. Let other people know, especially with this heat coming up, and for yourself too, just to make sure to follow some of that advice to keep your home cool. And I know I am going to, and I always learn something on these, so I appreciate that. And Eric, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
And thanks for everybody joining in for Fox 12 Now. We've got more coming up. We're going to take a break. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, and we'll talk to you then. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. Almost there, Wes.